John. Nice job on your sketches. They look really clear and clean. So these will be really good for your portfolio. So be sure to keep them because you do include sketches often in a portfolio. So let's see what you have here. You have that one, chicken legs. Mozzarella sticks. Huh? They kind of look like pickles too. This one's kind of fun. This is probably my least favorite just because it's so symmetrical looking. It just, I don't know, compared to this one and even this one. And also you may want to, photograph more images than you need, and then you can really mix it up, as we go along in the class. Let's see. I don't know. This one's my favorite just because I don't know. It's innovative. It looks it just looks kind of different. I mean, I think it says fried okra. I would definitely show the whole okra, and that's celery. Just because okra looks so cool, and even when it's cut open, it looks really cool. And I think it would be really interesting to get like a submarine that has a bunch of lettuce and stuff kind of falling out of it, and even falling onto the ground could look kind of cool. So that's just some ideas. French fries. And again, you might want to look at some different kinds of French fries. They have those crinkly ones, and those ones that, are kind of ribbed. So you could add a little bit more variety. So a couple ideas just before you start, photographing the images. It's okay to get some online. You're going to have to cite them if you do. I mean, this leg is funny as well. I mean, you could use one of these legs on this one too. You could also mix it up. You could, that's a lemon. You could put the this kind of sandwich head on anything. So anyway, I was just going to show you some past student work and bring up a couple things that you might want to consider when you're photographing. So the main thing, I don't know, most students tend to do everything from that head-on one-point perspective, and it looks kind of stiff, and it also doesn't really have much depth. So I'm just going to show you some examples. I try to encourage students to use a variety of angles. So notice that this is two angles. So we're seeing this side and this side, and notice how perspective is used in the sense that the things that are further away are smaller. So Photoshop does this really easy. So I just wanted to show you a couple things. This is, these are final, so we are going to work towards something like this. And again, more than 5 objects, and again, you can see, actually 3 sides of this refrigerator. So again, just some things to motivate you, just to give you some difference. I mean, this too is a little bit head-on, but he really worked hard at getting all this to work, and I kind of like the black and white background. This one's also came out really good, and again, it's like an iPad. It's really flat, but again, you can still see the side of it. And again, smaller mice in the background, and you can see all the different kinds of, and this one too, you can see a couple sides of the Rubik's Cube. Let's see, this one has a nice, the objects, really work together well, but the background and text really is kind of hurting that one. Just a second, where did the rest of them go? Oh, here we are. So this is another example of, showing several sides, and it just works to create a lot of depth. And this one's from an angle, from a side view, and it works really well. This one works well because also the background concept that she created really works for this kind of dancing, garden object. And again, note this use of perspective smaller in the background. This one too, really not very good text, and again, this one's pretty cool too. Again, smaller in the background. It's got a couple sides, so it really has more depth. Same here. The text is terrible, but everything else looks really great. And this one too, it's a pretty shallow object, but again, smaller wheel in the background. When you see more than one side, it just looks like it has more depth. And here's another food one. Could have pushed the depth a little bit on it, but overall he did a really good job, and he really had a hard time with the background, getting it to, the problem with the background is it tends to dominate, so you have to use techniques that make it recede and allow the caricature to come out. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. I do this feedback, once a week for the final thing. But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. I think it really looks great so far. I would probably combine a couple different things, and I wouldn't necessarily make all the legs symmetrical. You just really don't need to. Or if you're going to use like a chicken, use 2 different chicken pieces so they look different. Same with this stuff, because if it's just if it's too symmetrical, it tends to, kind of be, look less animated and less interesting. Okay, so nice job.